All right, hello and welcome to another live stream. It's been a couple days now. This one a little special. Hopefully doing a 200 subscriber thank you. We're blowing past 200. We're at almost 230 at this point now. But we're just going to be chilling, looking at some Dino cards. I'll give my opinion. I've used most of them. If I haven't, I'll maybe give some ideas of what I want to use them for, that sort of thing. So stay tuned if you're watching later on. Let's get right into it. Okay. Go to the good old collection. There's a lot of dinos. Probably some you may have forgotten existed if you haven't searched dinos in quite some time now. I'll pull up the chat eventually on my phone. It's just charging right beside me at the moment. Okay. Let's get into it. First one, Imperial Lancer. Didn't use that a whole lot, a little bit when Ixalan was in standard. I mean, it's a 1-1 double strike. That's okay. You really want at least 2 power. It's kind of difficult buffing it. There's some stuff, Inscription of Abundance, you could put the 2 counters on it, possibly. But yeah, I mean, it dies to Marauding Raptor. Doesn't benefit from any sort of cost reduction. Could be something there, maybe. We'll see. Then, yes, Kendrali's Collar. If you're in Boros, you're in Naya, could be a pretty decent option. I mean, of course, we like seeing more turn 1 plays. An 0-3 isn't anything to laugh at. That's fairly durable for some of the early aggression you might see from merfolk, goblins, that sort of thing. So it could help that way, but definitely getting your cost reduction turn 1, you could go off pretty nasty, especially turn 2 you get Marauding Raptor for a single red, and oh boy, exciting times after that. Yeah, mostly it's been Gruul, so I haven't used it a whole lot. Priest, well, you can tell how much I use this guy. I think that might be my last craft, possibly, once I unlock absolutely everything. Yeah, that is just life gain, but of course we favor Rampaging Ferocidon, so something like that, it's not going to go so good. And it's at the beginning of our upkeep, so it's before the draw, which if we have an empty hand, we're not even drawing a card before we use this. It goes untap, upkeep, draw, I believe. So, yeah, maybe not so good. Ouch. Okay. Snubhorn Sentry. Used it a little bit, again, in standard time. Ascend, it can be kind of tough getting to 10 permanents, especially if we make a 3-land hand work. Other than that, a 3-3 could be good, but if I'm using something that has Ascend, I'd definitely get Wayward Sawtooth for sure. That's going to be pretty fantastic. Sometimes coming down for a single green, so the same mana cost as this guy, and he's a lot bigger. Baffling End, pretty decent removal for sure. There's a lot of stuff, mana value 3 or less. The big common things for sure. And a token, I haven't used it myself personally, but I have it used on me all the time. Azorius Control, Jeskai a little bit. It really hurts, especially Rampaging Ferocidon if it's Celestia or Mono White life gain. They board that in game 2 and we're hurting big time. Well, Huatli Snubhorn. I probably used it in standard at some point. Raptor Companion a little bit. Tried it a bit with one of the free accounts that I used. I mean, 3 power. It's pretty decent. You get Otepic Huntmaster down, you're going 1 white for a 3-1. Could be alright. Kendrali's Sunwing. Now, I have used this a little bit with the Neoform combo. When they get all their shamans and whatnot, they're copying the spell and just dumping everything, giving them haste with Tuk Tuk Rebel Fort, I believe it is. It's nasty stuff. So we get them all coming in tapped, and we're safe for a turn. Hopefully we have a sweeper to follow up and kill them all. But yeah, definitely could help, especially against goblins where they just barf, well, who knows how much, including the tokens and non-token goblins. So it can help in a number of matches for sure, and it's got the all-important 3 toughness, surviving Marauding Raptor, which is quite nice. Territorial Hammer Skull, yeah, I used it a little bit. Imperial Aerosaur. Now I have wanted to use this guy somewhat just to help give a big dino flying Marauding Raptor. Possibly could be pretty decent, as well as majestic Heliopterus. I think those are pretty interesting. Something going on there. I mean, Heliopterus, 2 toughness, so it's going to die from Marauding Raptor. So I think if anything, I would prefer and probably go with the Imperial Aerosaur. Unfortunately, it is only that turn. It's giving flying, but does survive Marauding Raptor, so that is a good bar to pass. Definitely. Steadfast Armosaur. Haven't used that guy too much. Oh, no. Hey, we're not crafting nothing. Save those wild cards. It's pretty interesting. It would work in a big butts, high toughness deck. Huatli Sun Crowned, I believe it is. There is a lot of dinos, and especially you would bring in Solar Blaze. So I think it's pretty decent. Great blocker. Could remove some nice threats. You got to watch out for this guy, I think. And then, Ceratops, if we have rampaging, not so good. Temple Altasaur, oh yes. The fantastic, the lovely. If you're playing it, probably do a whole playset just so they can protect each other. 3-4. It's pretty fantastic. Durability, that's where it's at. Big elves, mono green, something massive. 5-4, 6-6. Doesn't matter. Taking 1 damage, especially if it's a big creature that has lifelink. They're only going to gain 1, even if they have whatever, because they're only dealing 1 damage. So that can be pretty sneaky. That can catch the opponent off guard, expecting that they're going to gain a whole bunch of life, whether they hit you or a creature, and not remembering or thinking, oh, I'm only dealing 1 damage with this guy. So that could come into play, definitely, especially against maybe Azorius, Horus, some sort of deck like that. Then we have, the fantastic, the lovely Trapjaw Tyrant. It makes combat interesting. If they can't kill it with the creatures they have out, technically it has unblockable, which is, I mean, that's pretty good. If they block with 1, you exile the other thing, and it's just downhill from there. And then all that stuff that comes back, if they do kill it, maybe you have Rampaging Frostodon out. So yeah, get all those pings when they come back. Could be good, could be lethal. If they're low enough, they have to leave this guy up, which that's nice. And then we've got Bellowing Aegisaur. I am thinking about it for a Hardened Scales Selesnya Dino deck. Could be pretty decent. I mean, it does cost a lot. I would prefer if maybe it costs 5, but 6. It's getting up there. Doesn't do a whole lot. If you don't have Marauding Raptor out, definitely doesn't do a whole lot. Vantasaur, good for the cycling Ikoria deck. Goring Ceratops. Haven't really ever used this guy. He is in a beginner starter deck, so that right there should be an indication of how they feel its power level is. Serious power level. But, I mean, if you get it down, it is powerful. I have always wanted to try it, so maybe at some point in Naya or Boros variation. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you get it down. Ooh, we got to reconnect. Very interesting. That was kind of odd. Let's check. See if everything's looking good. Yeah. It's looking all right. Okay, let's get right back into it. We've got, after that, the fantastic Wakening Sun's Avatar. Definitely kind of hard casting it with needing 3 white, but it is the board wipe. We do it all, definitely. And the entrance animation for this, just this giant stomping dino foot. Lovely to see, and should probably win the game on the spot. I mean, we haven't faced a dino mirror in probably a month now, probably longer. The mirror is, of course, not very common. Not too many people playing dinos. But this guy, it's fun. Maybe not the best thing for sure, but definitely a good time. You won't be disappointed when you cast it. Zatalpa, the top end of the white dinos. Not much to say. It's got all the good stuff, indestructible, hard to interact with. The important vigilance, for sure. That has come into play for me quite a bit. I have added Vivian, Nature's Champion, I believe it is. The 3 Vivian gives all your creatures vigilance, or gives a creature vigilance. It's been pretty important, pretty nice. Trying to work that in a little bit more, but definitely Zatalpa, great with the reanimation deck they have going on. Orzhov colors, I think it is. Just a nasty creature. Good creature. Then we got the blue stuff, River Darter. Well, it's not a dino, so we won't spend any time on that. Can't be blocked by dinos. I don't know. We got some pretty sneaky dinos to get rid of that. So, Wingfold Petron. Hey, we got another dino in Ikoria. We got a couple nice ones. Yeah, it's all right. Hexproof counter could be good. I would like the opportunity to put hexproof on something else. Marauding Raptor, that sort of thing. Help protect some of the key creatures we have. Hexproof, all is fantastic. The Elder Blue Dino, the fantastic Nezahal, has actually started, or at least was seeing some play as a 2 or 3 of, I think, in some Jeskai. A little bit of play. So it is nice seeing a dino. Of course, Galta sees some play in mono green quite a bit. Yeah, you get this down. I mean, pretty hard to interact with if you're drawing a whole bunch of cards, respond to lots of stuff. Is it Phoenix? But you really want to go as fast as you can against that deck. So this dino may not be for that, but we got cost reduction, so it could reasonably come down for 5, definitely. Nothing to laugh at. 7/7, can't be countered. That's what it's all about against some nasty matchups. Dimir Control, Jeskai, Azorius. I like it. Dinosaur Hunter. Oh, no. Why? That's just awful. It's cruel. We don't like this guy. Not one bit. Grim Captain's Call. I have been thinking about possibly adding that to a dinosaur tribal. So all our creatures are every creature. Then we could technically bring back 4 for 3, which pretty decent return. Pirate dinos possibly, if it's a tribal. That would be pretty decent, I think. Winning with tribal pirate dinos. Ooh, cats, dogs, just make a whole combination of lords and pay us for playing stuff. Vampire pirate dinos. Vampirate dinos. That is what we're going to call it. Fishy vampirate dinos. Okay. The name is settled. I'll have to go back and remember that. Nope, not crafted. Okay. Rotting Regisaur, I mean, Jund, Embercleave, pretty self-explanatory. Play this turn 3 if you can. Don't really need to play turn 2 if you're not going to be attacking with it. You might as well save discarding that one card. If you can get Huntmaster down turn 2, turn 3 play this, give it haste, you're still attacking, but you're up a card, which could be pretty relevant in some cases, especially if you've mulliganed once or twice. Yeah, something to keep in mind for sure. I know a lot of people like using Land War Elves, and then they're sitting at 3 possible mana on turn 2. They slam this guy, and yeah, you might be down an important card, the card you need later on. So something to keep in mind. Tetsamok. Played him a little bit, have a couple episodes of Tetsamok Terror. Always wanted to go back to him a little bit, but the black, it's kind of rough. Got to add the overgrown tombs, woodland cemeteries. But then red is also very important. Red and green, I mean, maybe you're revealing them once a turn. Could be good. Eventually, when you do play them, taking out basically everything. So if the game sort of is going long, they're not really able to break through your defenses. It doesn't make sense to attack them. You slam this guy and you just wipe them out. Could be possibly pretty decent. Certainly. I mean, 1 black, destroy target creature. That's good. Pretty good rate for sure. Forbidden Friendship. Well, it has a Dino. And we don't like this card because it sometimes shows up in Jeskai Creativity, that sort of deck, just to get the tokens. And then we see Sarah's Emissary. And if we don't have the answer, Insult, Injury, Kenris, Transformation, something, it's over. So I guess for that reason, I don't really like this card. Bad memories, nightmares of that Sarah's Emissary. Not so good. Marauding Raptor, you know him, you love him, I love him. Probably my best friend, my best Dino friend. Wow. Explosive. Nothing much more to say. You've probably heard me talk about him. You've seen him before. Wow. The key to all Enraged Dino decks, all Dino decks, I think, should be in all the time, all variations. If you're in red, you're in Dinos, you put them in. It's a no-brainer, I think. There's a lot of no-brainers, but this definitely, save yourself some time, some thinking. Do it. Okay. Nest Robber, used it a little bit in the free-to-play Hatch to Devour series. It's pretty good. Pretty good now. If it comes down for 1 after Otepec Huntmaster, that's all right. Huntmaster again, like I say. Wow. The pairing, the good buddies, Huntmaster, Marauding Raptor. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Raptor Hatchling. There's some pretty interesting stuff with this you may have seen, but for anyone unaware, Marauding Raptor, turn 2, Raptor Hatchling plus a land on turn 3. And then if you have Galta, you're sitting at Marauding Raptor, who has pinged the Hatchling, the token. So it's sitting at 6 power plus 1 reduction. So that's 7. And then the token itself, 3 power, brings you up to 10. Galta for 2. I don't know anything else that's slamming a 12-12 trample for 2 on turn 3. That might be hard to deal with them. Of course, there's some great removal, so we got to watch out for that. But if you can't answer 12-12 trample for 2 on turn 3, you might be done for. Just a guess. Sun-Colored Raptor, Zerda the Dawnwalker. I always thought about adding that in, so the activation is only 1 red. Pretty good. 1 red, plus 3, plus 0. Also could work with Zilortha, Power Matters, big power deck. So technically it's plus 3 for 3. Might be something there. Have to wait and see. Tillanally's Knight. 3/3 for 2. Haven't used it a whole lot other than standard when it was first starting out in the beta. Dinosaur Stampede. Wow. It has won me some games. Haven't used it a lot, but if you are all in on dinos, it could be something to consider. It's like a fairly cheap overrun, but if you have a wide enough board, enough bodies, definitely Marauding Raptor at a 6/3. You give it the all-important trample plus 2 more power. That's going to be nasty. And then a couple other guys, that might just win you the game right there. Frenzied Raptor, oh, the art. In real life, if you can get the paper version, I'm sure you can get the paper version, but you get it in foil. The foil version of this is, oh my goodness, fantastic. Stunning, actually. All the feathers and whatnot just shining perfectly. Oh, definitely look to pick up a couple, maybe a play set. Foil Frenzied Raptor. It's definitely not going to break the bank, but other than that, yeah, well, definitely that art is much better than the Ikoria one, for sure. 100%. Frilled Deathspitter. Kind of interesting. Could maybe do a little bit of work in a enrage pinging sort of deck. I thought about it in Zalortha. Big power matters just because it does have 3, so comes down while Marauding Raptor is out, it's going to survive because technically has 3 toughness now, so that is something. And it also works kind of nicely if you've got a Forerunner of the Empire, so he's pinging the Frilled Deathspitter first, then Marauding pings afterwards for 4 total damage, which is nothing to laugh at, that's for sure. Oh, Rampaging Ferocidon. You know him. You love him. Ooh, yeah. Not much more to say about that guy. Fantastic. Lovely. We all hate life gain. So, yeah. You get more than one. I mean, the life gain part, can't gain life, is redundant, unfortunately. But maybe you get 2, you get 3. You're going to lock the opponent out pretty quick if they keep playing creatures, that's for sure. Oh, well, we can't craft it. Actually, does it have... It does not. It is kind of weird. Some of the Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan cards have got their extended art, full art treatment. I would definitely like it for Rampaging Ferocidon. They should just start doing it. It's pretty easy. Reptilian Reflection. Tried it a little bit with Yadaro Footfall Craters, I think it is. Cycling sort of Gruul Dino deck. Pretty nice. It's resilient to a board wipe, of course. 5/4 trample with haste. I like it. I definitely like it. I think there is some potential there. Certainly. Maybe it fits better in an actual true enchantment cycling deck, but it is a dino, so we like it. Oh, and also speaking of Frenzied Raptor, going back to that, you get some foil versions of this guy. Oh, I mean, look, it's glowing, shining gem crystals. That in foil, I gotta say, is lovely, fantastic. Again, not breaking the bank, so might be something to consider. Bonded Horncrest. Well, 4 for a 5/5, but that's not good. For this, you might as well just play Territorial Allosaurus with the option to fight, possibly, and then no drawback. It could attack or block by itself. Yeah. Hey, you might as well try it out if you have a lot of dinos, but you really want to maximize the potential, not lock yourself out with something like this guy. Oh, wow. There he is. We had to get to him at some point. The enabler of the infinite combo, or one of the enablers. Fantastic. Searching for whatever you need. Wiping them out. Definitely something to play around with, for sure. Maybe not as much if the only enraged dino you have is Ripjaw, but You get ranging raptors in there, pinging all the time, searching for basic lands, drawing cards, maybe a couple other dinos, but at the very least, those two, it's a lot of value really quick. And Marauding Raptor turn 2 means you could go Forerunner turn 3 for 3. Not too bad for sure. Turn 4 go, well, whatever Forerunner searched possibly, but sometimes it might be a little bit slow. He's not really doing anything the turn he comes down, which is unfortunate. You really want to meaningfully be affecting the board at all times if it makes sense to. But it's a fun card to play around with, of course. Getting those infinite Polyraptors. It's always a good time. Momentum Rumbler. Haven't really ever used this guy yet. I've always had a thought to. First strike, 3/3, that's pretty good. You get to that double strike, though. Could be hard to interact with, especially if you can get his power buffed up, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. 5 definitely would help get to that double strike range for sure. Needletooth. Oh, been using it a little bit in the all-in Dino list. Lovely, lovely stuff. I mean, 5 damage. If you get Cherished Hatchling, you get this guy, you fight something small that has 1 power and 1 or 2 toughness, you kill that, you ping, you kill something for 5, and then Marauding Raptor would ping this. So you kill something else for 5. I'd say that's pretty good, especially if it's coming down for 3, sometimes for 2. Pardon me there. It's not even getting that late. I haven't drank my coffee yet. My goodness. Might have to make that after this. But yeah, Needletooth Raptor. Could be something, for sure. It's pretty good. I mean, 5 damage clears out a lot of stuff. I would say most of the stuff we need to clear out. Some of the humans can really grow quite big, unfortunately, with all those counters. But other than that, I mean, Spawn of Mayhem. Hopefully a Corvold before it grows too big, but that guy gets nasty real quick. Definitely above 5, unfortunately. Orazka, pretty cool. Nice in foil, again, like Reptilian Reflection and Frenzied Raptor. 3/4 for 4. Nothing much. Pyroceratops. I mean, it's non-creatures, dinos. They're all about creatures, but if you put a counter on him every time you cast a dinosaur, now that actually would be pretty cool. Hopefully they add something like that. Casting more, getting bigger. I would like it a lot. They actually do have that with Bloodline something. The Changeling from Kaldheim. I think whenever you cast or whenever a creature of the chosen type comes into play, you get a counter on him, which I guess is pretty close to this Pyroceratops, but it is also 3 colorless, so quite easy to play. A little easier than this guy, and cheaper, of course. Then, we almost missed the Thrash of Raptors, the king of the budget dinos. You have mostly dinos, so you might as well get this guy for a common. 5/3 trample for most of the time, I would say. Very easy to meet that requirement. I think it's a no-brainer. If you're starting out, you might as well get this guy basically free. I mean, paper-wise, it's basically free as well. Pennies. Oh, Charging Monstrosaur. The art, fantastic. Trample Haste, 5/5 for 5. It's all the stuff we want in a budget dinos. I have used it a little bit seriously in ranked in some of my lists. It is definitely a nice top deck. You take out that Teferi after a board wipe, who knows what. Pretty nasty stuff. Then, let's see. Nope. Hey, no, we're not playing elves here. Charging Tuskodon. Could be nice if you up its power. Definitely. Haven't really used it a whole lot, but certainly could be something there. Cloud Piercer. Used it a little bit with Mutate to add some more potential hits, potential value from some of the Apex dinos like Snapdax, Aluna, Vadrock. I mean, it is nice you can go this turn 3 after the turn 2 Marauding Raptor. And then you swing with a 5-4 reach. Might be something. Get rid of a card you don't need and hopefully get something else. It is a common, so definitely worth a try, especially if you're adding in that Aluna or Vadrock. Maybe not Snapdax, but hey, Mutate. It's fun. Gotta watch out for that removal though. So, Stampeding Horncrests. Well, you can tell how much I use this guy. None at all. Oh, let's see. And then Burning Sun's Avatar. A lot of fun. Certainly too costly, I think, but you get that reduction. You get taken out a decent amount of threats. Mayhem Devil springs to mind, certainly. Chipping away at their life total. Big body at a 6/6. Nothing to laugh at. A tally. Oh, wow. A lot of fun. Hit or miss, definitely. I mean, it does suck when you get a land for yourself and the opponent. Yeah. Still, a lot of fun if you can manipulate the top card of your library. A couple different ways you can do that. Some mostly in black. It can get quite enjoyable, I'll say. Another tally. Yep. Form of the Dinosaur. Well, it's not exactly a dinosaur, I guess, but Ripscale Predator. 6/5 Menace. We got another dino with M20. More dinos, that's what it's all about here on 100% Dinos. Arfie Games. Suncrown Hunters. 5/4. Tried it a little bit. I mean, 3 damage every time it's dealt damage. That could stack up pretty quick, especially if you get maybe 2 pings the turn you play it, or just a ping from marauding. Use this guy as a blocking deterrent, or you just swing with it, and the opponent's got to think long and hard. And it's very good in foil, I might add. All right, Silverclad Ferocidons. I think definitely too costly, 8/5, but you get the marauding, you get some other cheap ways to ping it. It could certainly hurt the opponent, but again, yeah, just a little bit too costly to be seriously, super seriously good. Yadaro, wow. Used it a little bit. I have got to cycle it 4 times and then get them into play for 2. Drawn a card. 8/8 Trample Haste. Technically flash since you can cycle at any time. Wow. It's hard to top that. I mean, 8/8 Trample Haste for 7 is good. Also with cost reduction, you're seeing 6/5 possibly. Hard for the opponent to deal with. I mean, even if you have 7 lands, nothing else out, you top deck this, that is what you want to be top decking if you're looking for something big, a threat. Again, you saw Allosaurus Shepherd. We don't like this guy. Unless we have instant speed board wipe for when they activate and try to make all the elves base power 5/5 and a dinosaur. We can't allow that. So basically Magma Quake it is, instant speed, pay X, deal X damage to creatures without flying and planeswalkers. I have used that a couple times while this activation was on the stack, and it's worked out nice. The opponent scooped, I believe, in all cases, just because who plays Magma Quake? There it is. We had to get to it at some point. Commune with Dinosaurs, the fantastic, the lovely. You're in green, dinos, you use it. Basically. Although if you bring in a fair bit of non-dinos, the full set of Drover and Huntmaster, you're really looking at quite a few reduced hits, especially if you've got other spells, maybe Rhythm of the Wild, your fight spells, other things like that. So keep an eye on if your total number of dinos has really kind of dropped. You may want to switch this with Incubation, Incongruity, Adventurous Impulse, Abundant Harvest, something like that. So it can miss when you start adding in some non-dino stuff. Cherished Hatchling, wow, could be good. I definitely think there's some potential there. It has helped me a few times, but I just haven't used it a whole lot. I mean, 1 green, you play with Marauding Raptor out, Marauding pings it, kills it, you play something else. But the kind of tricky part is if you have Marauding out, you're playing something, you got to remember whatever Marauding pings, that creature's going to have 2 less toughness, so there's not a whole lot you can fight and still be at 3 toughness for Marauding Raptor to ping it, and then you go to your next turn. So it can be kind of clunky that way, not being able to fight without losing the creature that you just played, which, I mean, that's what we want to do. Play something, fight something, have a nice creature afterwards. Drover, wow, Drover the Mighty, a 3/3 for 1 green sometimes. Tapping for any color, pretty self-explanatory. That 3/3 definitely comes in handy, comes into play, has helped me win some games. Nothing much more to say. It is fantastic. It is lovely. Use it. Try it out at the very least. The Sleepy Dino, Drowsing Pteranodon. Well, we don't use it. Haven't really ever used it, but it's funny, and we got a dinosaur. We got a wide variety, actually. Always nice to see. Thunderherd Migration, used it a fair bit in Standard. Moved away from it just because I like Ranging Raptors, the potential to draw quite a few cards, deter aggression with Ranging Raptors. This is stable ramp, though. I mean, Ranging Raptors is also stable ramp, but can't hurt adding a few of those in. But if you are like me, I only prefer 1 mountain, 3 forests, something like that. Not a whole lot of basics, so you could be caught out searching for nothing in some games, especially if you go long. It can hurt, definitely. Deathgorge Scavenger. Oh, this guy has some great potential. Can hurt sometimes, but if you can swing with him the turn he comes down, he's having 5 power. If you exile 2 non-creatures, but the life gain, nothing to sneeze at. It's definitely, ticked up, helped me win some games, padded things, so sort of took the sting out of some of their early aggression. Yeah, maybe it comes down for 1 green, you swing with a 5/4, 5/2, I guess, if Marauding has pinged it. He's pretty good, pretty cheap. Graveyard interaction, exiling, graveyard hate, that's what we want. Dinos have it. Again, we do everything. Good stuff. All right, then next up we have, Orazka Frillback. Haven't really ever used that guy. Frenzied Raptors, green cousin. Ranging Raptors, oh, wow. Yes, we're going to talk about this guy for a little bit. So, Marauding Raptor turn 2, Ranging Raptors turn 3. Maybe you haven't drawn your 3rd land, so you get your 3rd land this way. If you have got your 3rd land, maybe use that extra mana for a Commune with Dinosaurs. Or, since you don't need that 3rd mana, technically, 3rd land, you do Sheltered Thicket for the turn, come into play tapped, and then the 2 that you have, use it for ranging, get your 4th, things go off from there. And then you're left with it to block the following opponent's turn if they have something, bunch of 2/2s. This deters aggression big time. Pretty terrible trade, especially if they can't kill it. Or they have to double up with removal. I mean, that's just nasty. It's ugly for the opponent. So there's definitely some nice potential there. If you are in 3 colors, I probably wouldn't add this guy. You could slip in maybe the single plains, the single swamp, something like that. Might help you out. Ravenous Daggertooth. Another enraged Dino, gaining life. But that toughness, oh boy. We don't like seeing 2 toughness. Haven't really ever used it in any serious amount. Runic Armasaur. Now this could be fairly interesting. There is some potential, but I mean, it is hit or miss. There's not a whole lot it activates on. I would like it to activate on more than just creatures or lands. Maybe that would be too overpowered. But something like, well, some of the lands that make tokens, the man lands, activated ability, so you'd be drawing cards that way. So there could be maybe enough to make this useful, make it make sense, I guess. Other than that, I mean, 5 toughness, pretty big body, nice defensive blocker if you need to stall things out. Oh, there. Oh, stomping, savage stomp. That was the beginning. Fantastic removal for 1 green. You're putting the counter on. Always lovely stuff. Yeah, not much more to say. Probably start with it in the sideboard if you're doing best of 3, just so it's not a dead draw against creatureless decks. But other than that, it's an uncommon. You're playing dinos. You might as well put it in, try it out, see how it feels for you. Okay, the next page. All right. Oh, there. Actually, just going to check the chat quickly. Seems to be going okay, but nothing yet. I'll just see if it's maybe not syncing properly. All right. Slight delay there, but back at it. Probably end it pretty quick, see what we can get through. We'll do the next part at some point, wherever we leave off. Thrashing Brontodon, fantastic. 3/4, 1 and 2 green. I mean, sometimes you get a bunch of cost reduction. You're only really benefiting from that Hunt Master, that Marauding Raptor, but you're covering your artifact enchantment removal. It is a good body. Oftentimes 2 green for a 3/4. That is decent. Definitely decent. Try it out. Might not need it a whole lot. I've cut it for quite some time now. Haven't really brought it in, and I don't know when, but it isn't going to hurt at the very least. You got a good body, and that's definitely something. Wayward Swordtooth. hit or miss. Probably, I think, not the best in an actual Dino deck. Something more ramp oriented, maybe something that has 26 lands, 25 lands, something a little higher than at least the 22 lands that I favor. Have tried 24 whenever I've brought this guy in, but the 10 permanents can be, again, kind of hard to get to, unfortunately. Cacophodon. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Certainly makes your sweepers technically cost one less whenever you're untapping a land after you cast them. Ping this guy. Cinderclasm, dealing 1 damage, or 2 if you need to, but dealing 1 damage, so technically making Cinderclasm cost 1 red. It's pretty decent. Maybe you double up on the Cinderclasms, 2 red to deal 2 damage separated, which is always what you want to do against or with enraged dinos. Get the most value out of all that. Then Grazing Whiptail. I mean, if you're starting out, might as well get a 3/4 reach for 4, hopefully with some cost reduction pretty soon. But yeah, again, this in foil, it is lovely stuff, especially with that crest it's got going on there. Well, I think we'll finish off with Night of the Stampede. It is definitely night here. It's getting dark. It gets dark around 5. That's not good. Go to work when it's dark, come home when it's dark. Yikes. Yeah, Night of Stampede. I mean, 2 is pretty good, but a lot of times Marauding and Otepic Huntmaster, that's all the cost reduction you need. This guy, it's basically just going to waste, unfortunately. But it is what it is. All right, we're going to end it here. If you haven't subscribed, if you like the stream, you like more dinos, definitely leave a like. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.